Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. We appreciate you being here. All you survivors out there, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe below. Hey, tonight we got a great show. We're going to talk about a real sicko. I think he's a sicko anyway. Camiel's going to go over everything. It's his show tonight. But first, we are going to talk about a dad joke. All right? It's a new thing we're going to start. We're going to give you a dad joke at the beginning of every show. And I'm going to start it off with a skeleton walks into a bar and asks the bartender for a beer and a mop. I know, it's a dad joke.
All right, to the dad joke. Jeez.
Think about it. I'm your host. I'm one of your hosts, Ronnie.
I'm John. Camiel, cheers.
And between us, we have 75 years of law enforcement experience, which is probably why we're a little warped up here and think the way we do. But that's okay. It makes it fun. Let's jump right into the beer moment.
Okay,
John, what you got, buddy?
Tonight we have Pahoho by two brothers, Artisan Brewing out of Warrenville, Illinois. Again, that is Pahoho Coconut Ale.
Do they have a slap-a-hoe?
I do not know if they have a slap-a-hoe, but if two brothers share a hoe, they may slap a hoe.
And it is two brothers.
So,
all right, here we
All right.
go.
So I like it. I like the smell.
I'm going to go off and say that it has a little bit of a cider taste, even though it is not a cider. A little bit of an apple cider taste. I like the hell out of it. And I'm going to give it like a 9.25.
Yeah, definitely it's a cidery. I'm sure that's a word.
Yeah.
Right? Cidery.
Yeah,
Certainly.
it is now.
It's now. I'm going to give it an 8.25. Yeah, I like it.
There you go.
Yeah.
it's more cidery than coconutty, and I was actually hoping to get some more coconut.
Yeah, that's
Right?
a good point.
It is.
There's not really much coconut.
Yeah.
I get a slight hint of coconut. I'm gonna give it a 7.5.
All right. Well, that's a pretty darn good rating for a new beer. You know, we tried it. We gave it a shot. Hey, let's talk about our sponsors a little bit here. Tonight's beer moment is brought to you by Kenny's Groceries, located in Orange City, right off 1792 and French Avenue. Over 500 different types of beers and wines. Please visit them. We appreciate it. Tell them Surviving the Badge sent you down there. And if you can find the sticker in the store and tell us where it's located, we will send you a sticker. But you got to send us an email or you got to send us a comment on the comments below.
Yeah, you can take a picture and then send it to retiredcopsrule@gmail, and that'd be awesome.
.com?
Yep. Yeah. .com. Yeah.
Our other sponsors, like to say a special thanks to Chris and Tom Clem of Exit Realty. These guys are phenomenal. Tom is a former Marine and a now current law enforcement officer locally, and they are in the real estate business. Tom does it on the side. Kristen does it full time. She's a former school teacher. If you guys are in the market for a cash buy or any type of real estate at all, please contact Chris and Tom Clem. They will take care of you and make sure that it's done right. They care about their customers. All their information and their website link is below. Please visit them. Along with that, we have Clem Property Investments, cash buys. Tom can take care of you. Trust me, these guys are top notch. So we appreciate your sponsorship. Thank you. Last but not least, and who gives us a lot of this stuff that we do to make the show is CNR Constructors. They are a general contractor out of Central Florida. They specialize in commercial build-outs and home remodels and home building. Anything you need built, these guys can do it. They are top-notch. They did some work for John. He was happy, did a great job at his house. We did some work for Tom Clem on a flip house that he's doing. We just finished it up today. So make sure you visit the website, and I'll have all the information down below in the description. Let's move right on to our
Fallen officers. So as of today, when I was looking, the note said 85, but when I was leaving, I noticed there was one more officer killed in the line of duty, and this officer was killed throwing out stop sticks in a pursuit.
Oh, my
and I know that I've used stop sticks. I don't know if have you guys were you
I
guys
taught
were you guys ever successful with stop sticks?
I was once.
Yeah.
How did you react when he did?
I screamed like a freaking little girl on the radio. And said, I got him! I got him!
He had the stop sticks! He had the stop sticks!
Oh, it was awesome. Because a bank robber from the city next to us, and he came down the main road, and I popped him, and we ended up catching him, and I think he did 25 years in prison.
Yeah, we had a guy coming through. He had a gun. He was waving at everybody, and I pulled it, and he stopped and went right around. And I'm like, son of a bitch. That's the only time I ever used him. But anyway, so this officer was killed, unfortunately, deploying stop sticks. It's very dangerous. We've had 16 officers killed by gunfire, 16 by auto-related, and 50 by COVID, which is down from last year. So that's
Thank
good.
God. Thank God.
So to all of our fallen officers and their families, we salute you.
Salute.
And rest
Absolutely.
in peace.
Rest in peace. And prayers to you, I mean, all of your family and your departments and everybody. That's terrible.
Yeah. So our trivia question, LT, you got a sticker? To show
I do, right
to
here.
show the folks.
It looks just like this big old monster thing behind me.
Just not that
Only
big.
this size. To give you a little reference. Oh, wait, here's a better reference. It's about beer can size. There you
It'll
go.
fit on your koozie.
Absolutely.
So our trivia question, again, in the honor of Women in History Month, which is March. You Neanderthals did not know that.
I did.
So,
It's
Eileen
April.
Wuornos, serial killer from our neck of the woods.
Yeah.
The question is, how did she murder her victims? How did Eileen Wuornos, what was her chosen method of murder? Write a comment. First one to put a comment into the YouTube comment section
Correctly.
correctly will get a classic surviving.
So,
the Badge
meaning,
sticker.
was it strangulation? Was it blunt force trauma? Was it gunfire? Was it, whatever?
Yeah,
Run him over
absolutely.
by a car.
Drawn and quartered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Whatever method
Poisoning.
was her thing. Okay. Gotcha.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
So that is the trivia question for a classic sticker. We're going to talk about America's Dr. Death. And I'm not talking about Dr. Kevorkian from, what was it, the 90s, 80s?
90s, I believe.
Yeah. So,
I think it started in the 80s, though.
yeah.
Yeah.
Dr. Husel out of Ohio was arrested a couple of years ago for murder. He was suspected of murdering 27 of his patients through excessive use of fentanyl. And
What is fentanyl?
fentanyl was invented numerous decades ago, like, I don't know, 70s or 80s.
Yes.
And it's a severely strong, originally designed as a pain medication for terminally ill patients. Comfort.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like a
And-
stronger morphine.
Right, it's a
Depressant.
synthetic opiate, and it was designed for, and a lot of in the original form was a patch, and because it would absorb into the skin, and it would give cancer patients who suffered from extreme excruciating pain pain relief, and then in the last recent years it's gone through. There's been a zillion amount of overdose deaths, street overdose deaths,
Law enforcement officers.
succumbing because it does absorb into the skin, and a lot of officers will be searching a vehicle and they'll touch a powdery substance or something. And I think that's why the local sheriff's office, they actually have Narcan nasal spray, and a lot of that is for themselves.
Absolutely.
If they encounter this fentanyl.
And it becomes airborne. It can be ingested through the nasal, cavity, and I mean, it's immediate. It will put them down immediately.
Yeah. So
Bad stuff.
it's suspected between 2015 and 2018 at Mount Carmel Hospital in Columbus, Ohio, where the doctor was doctoring. He was
So he wasn't practicing. He's doctoring.
What is up with Columbus?
Ohio, I don't know. And what's weird about Ohio is a lot of times, if you look at the map of overdose deaths, Ohio is always over the top.
What is going
I don't.
on?
I don't get
It's England.
So, Dr. Husel, he, grew up kid, whatever, was going to college. And while he was in college in 1984, he was arrested for vehicle burglary. And then later that same year, he was arrested for setting a pipe bomb to explode on the university campus. And he set up another student to take the fall for it. So this is the doctor in college.
Wow.
Why did this not come through in the background check?
Right?
You know why? They only went back 10 years.
Oh.
And so they didn't see it. So they hired this doctor who had a violent criminal history and to be doctoring because their background check only went back 10 years.
And why would you not go back to a person from the time they turned 18?
How much more would it cost?
Yeah, I mean, you can't get anything prior to 18 unless you are a law enforcement agent
Right.
or something like that. But I mean, my God, man. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yep. So Dr. Husel graduated high school. He was on back for the charges. He was sentenced to 6 months community confinement and a year supervision. Did all that. Graduated. Went to Ohio State University.
Oh, well, there's the problem right there.
Well, that was for medical school.
Yeah, well, there you go. He's a Buckeye.
And where did he go?
Ohio State. I'm sorry. You're right. The Ohio State University.
Yeah.
Thank you for correcting me.
Whatever. Yeah, whatever.
Graduated the College of Osteopathic Medicine in 2008. Found work in 2013 in the intensive care unit at Mount Carmel West Hospital in Columbus, Ohio.
Wait, you got to say that right. Mount Carmel.
Carmel. Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize.
Caramel. It's like caramel or caramel.
I say Carmel. So
I say caramel.
I say whichever is going to annoy the people I'm around.
Well,
why are we
imagine
not? Why are we not surprised about that, John?
Imagine that.
So he's practicing. He starts practicing in 2013 as a doctor. In February 2015, he begins prescribing extremely high doses of fentanyl to his patients. And
By high dosages, though, I mean, what are we talking?
Well, I included a graph.
But you also described him as, he was described as highly intelligent.
That's what Wikipedia said.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
My
I wonder if he's the one
absolute
who
resource.
put that in there.
Yeah, right? So if you look at
I am highly intelligent.
right, and I don't know if I don't know if I added this to our to show the people the chart. I'm not sure if I sent you a picture of it.
Okay.
But if I did, LT will put it up there. So
Yeah, I'll put it up in the show.
As you look at fentanyl, if you and it's in micrograms, when you get to about 250 or 150, it starts talking about significant risk of death, and then 250 high risk is extreme death. 700 death likely. 1,000 death occurred.
Just I don't want to cut you off, but how much use sugar as an example?
I sent LT a picture, and if you look at fentanyl, like 3 to 4 granules of sugar will kill you. Yeah.
So
it's
Wow.
yeah, it's a
Really?
minuscule amount will kill you.
Wow.
Now, for a lot of these patients who are in pain, they have a higher tolerance for that. So you need, if you're going to help with pain management, it obviously is going to increase it a little bit.
Right.
So 2015, he's starting to prescribe these higher doses of fentanyl, and which starts resulting in the deaths of some of his patients. And the argument is, because the trial's going on right now, the argument is that it wasn't the high doses that killed them, it was their underlying medical conditions.
Were they all terminal?
Not all of them. Some of them were actually getting better.
Okay.
Yeah, they were all in the ICU, but some of them were getting better. It's not like they were all hospice patients.
Okay.
Yeah, which is a valid question. Are these all hospice patients that he's trying to ease their pain and move them on to, nobody wants to sit around knowing that they're going to die
Right.
sitting in pain. I totally get that, but apparently that was not the case.
Okay.
Whatsoever. So he marries his wife, which is a nurse at the hospital, and let's see. So the first murder allegedly happened in 2015. A patient was administered 400 micrograms of fentanyl, and if you look at 400, it says extremely high risk. And this is from their investigation. This wasn't the first reported one, but when they went back, they're looking at his records and they're like, you got 400 micrograms of fentanyl, which
says extreme risk.
Exactly. Over the next couple of years, 34 patients ended up dying. His patients, not overall patients, which happened to be an extreme amount compared to the other doctors working in the intensive care unit. So Mount Carmel Hospital accused Husel of 34 deaths. One of the first victims reportedly received 1,000 micrograms, which, as a doctor, you would know,
Near certain death.
Near certain death. Majority of the patients received between 500 and 1,000 micrograms. 2 patients actually received 2,000 micrograms.
Death.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
That's like gunshot to the head. Death. Yeah. According to your chart.
So how do you think, and I got it off the interwebs, so it's got to be true.
Interwebs?
So is that not a thing?
It is.
Okay.
In this bar it is.
Right. So most of his patients on the overnight shift, he was working the overnight shift. So how do you think he obtained this much fentanyl?
He had to be buying it.
No. It's medical.
It's prescribed.
But so, and I sent you a picture of this too. There's a machine that a doctor in hospital, you have, how many nurses do you have in your family? 2. So they know about this. When a doctor needs a medication, a lot of times, instead of going to a pharmacist, there's a machine. And you punch in, blah, 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 blah,
yeah.
blah. So they found out that on several occasions, he used, as a doctor, the override function. Because there's an automatic set that says, hey, you can only order this much. But unless you're a doctor, you can override it, get me 2,000.
But how stupid. There's a record of it. He's got to punch his code in, which has to be a DEA number.
Right.
It has to be. All script pads have a DEA number on the bottom of the script pad, which is assigned to that doctor. So, it's traceable.
So this guy gets away with it for 3 years, from 2015 to 2018. Why? Why do you think that is?
Because nobody freaking even thought to even think that this guy was doing overdoses to these patients.
He's a doctor.
Right.
Oh, doctors are... Like we did, I did a mini episode on Dr. Death in England, Harold Shipman. He was killing hundreds and hundreds of patients with morphine overdoses. And they're like, that's fine. He's a doctor. He knows it. And you sign off on your own death certificate. 200 some odd victims.
Right.
And they don't question because he's a doctor.
Right.
So they don't question it.
Right. Well, he did take that Hippocratic oath, so.
Right. Do no harm.
Correct.
Yeah. Well.
Right. Yeah.
So, October 25th, 2018, Mount Carmel received the first formal report of Dr. Husel conduct.
Easy for him to say.
Right? During this, they investigated and they found several high doses of fentanyl. Between the start of the investigation and the time that they removed him from being able to see patients, 3 more patients died.
That's it.
Holy cow.
Right?
Wow.
I don't know why. And I know in law enforcement, if you are involved, like in an officer-involved shooting,
Immediate suspension.
Administrative,
not suspension, but administrative leave.
Right.
So, hey, we can't take the chance of you being out there if you're out there shooting your gun when you shouldn't be.
Right. So why don't they do that with doctors? 3 more patients ended up dying during the investigation. I know when I was with
because cops are the only ones that do wrong and need to be fired and prosecuted anytime they fire their gun. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
You know that.
I know when I worked for the state, when we had an officer-involved shooting where we were investigating, immediately that day we took their gun for lab purposes, ballistics,
Yeah.
and they were on administrative leave.
Absolutely.
Right.
And we were required to have our investigation done within 30 days.
And as an administrator, our policy dictated that when we got on scene of an officer-involved shooting, we immediately went and got the officer that was involved, if they weren't injured, of course.
Right.
If they're in a hospital, different story. But we secured their firearm, secured them in our vehicle, and immediately transported them to the station away from the scene.
Yep.
So that, they're not catching any of this from the media or anybody else, to the scene, isolated them so that there's no interference from anybody else talking to them, and made sure they were okay, and took their weapons, secured in evidence, because FDLE which is Florida Department of Law Enforcement, which is who he worked for, is coming to the scene, and the next thing they're going to ask for once they clear the scene is, where's the weapon?
Yep.
And here it is.
And let me ask you, did you remove the rounds?
No.
Okay, because we always counted how many rounds were
Right,
in
we made
the gun,
sure the
how many
chamber
rounds
was
were in the other
clear and
magazine.
safe.
Right.
But no, we didn't. And if there was one in the chamber, which of course there was,
Right.
we would pull the magazine, put the gun, and if there was a magazine or a round in the chamber, all of them went together.
Right.
In one
box.
package.
So, yep.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because it was very
absolutely.
important, and a lot of people and as being a firearms instructor, I know that this happens. A lot of people are like, "Oh, well, he must have shot 3 rounds because he's missing 2 out of the magazine." Well, that's not necessarily true, because what if he only put a certain amount in there? Right. So we can't jump to conclusions. But
And here's the deal: officers miscount.
right, absolutely.
We carried 15-round magazines.
Yep.
Sometimes when you got to that 15th round, unless you were sitting there and counting every single round, it was hard as hell to get that 15th round.
Yep.
It's hard as hell to get the 14th in there.
It is. So I know a lot of people that, it's got to be 15. I can't get that 15th round in there. There could have only been 13 rounds.
Yep.
There could have only been 14 rounds in there.
Absolutely. That's why we never relied with how many was in the magazine.
To begin with.
Right.
Before the shooting.
Yep.
And as a supervisor, did we pull everybody's mag, empty every mag before every single shift? Of course not. We don't have time for that shit.
No.
We assumed.
No time for that.
Yeah.
Ain't got no time for that.
I love that video.
So, back to Dr. Husel. They didn't do any of that. They did not put him on administrative leave during the investigation, and 3 other patients died while they were conducting this investigation. So, they finally, November 21st, 2018, they fired him. They said, yeah, you're done here. You're done.
But he still didn't go to jail.
Well, he did not go to jail immediately. January 15, 2019, he had his license suspended as a doctor. And he was charged with 25 counts of murder. Some of them were dropped later by the judge. And my question is, I don't know if I talked about this, but guess who his defense attorney is?
Isn't it the guy from, oh my gosh, I forget.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Jose Baez,
Yes.
the Casey Anthony attorney.
Yes.
This is in Ohio?
In Ohio.
He's licensed to practice law in Ohio?
Apparently so. So Dr. Husel hired our very own Florida Jose Baez, who was successful in defending Casey Anthony in the trial where she was accused of murdering her daughter. And we'll see what happens.
I gotta laugh. He was successful only because
The prosecution was horrible.
Thank you. The state put up such a freaking terrible case in Casey Anthony, but I guess yes, he was successful.
They overcharged. Yeah.
Overcharged what they could prove.
Yep.
And they didn't even bother trying to prove the
Any
child
lesser
neglect.
and any lesser included.
Well, she was responsible.
Right.
child neglect,
Yep.
and the result of death.
Do you agree she was guilty?
I believe so, yes. I believe that she...
should have been guilty?
I believe that she was responsible for the death. I don't believe it was first degree.
No. I don't think it was first degree either.
I think it was probably an accidental death that she tried to cover up.
Right.
Or she
I
tried
think it was
to-
either second degree or third
Or
degree,
manslaughter.
which is manslaughter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
First,
hey, guys, if you want us to do a Casey Anthony case, which I think we kind of ought to, because it was such a huge case here in Florida and across the world. If you want to see us do one of those, please comment below that. Yeah, we'd like to see your comments and have you dive into it. It was in our backyard, guys. It was right here, like what 20 miles is where it happened from where we're at. So if you want to see something like that, put a comment below. Yeah, hey, you guys cover Casey Anthony or whatever, and what your thoughts are of the case. Or you think she should have been found guilty or whatever. Let us know your thoughts. We'd love to cover that case.
So Dr. Husel wasn't the only one fired in this case. 30 other employees were actually fired by the hospital.
I saw that.
Wow. And that was because they did not do their job. They're like, oh, he's the doctor, and they should have called him on his shit.
All right,
they should have said, hey, written a formal complaint. I just noticed that Dr. Husel prescribed 2,000 micrograms for somebody who's 30 years old.
Right?
Right.
So, yeah.
Here's my question. I got a question for you. And it's a legit question as far as you're saying nurses and pharmacists. Why nurses and pharmacists if he was able to go out and check out the drugs himself and pull those out of the machine or whatever and do that? Why do you know?
From my research, the nurses were because they saw this happening and didn't report anything.
Okay, gotcha.
The pharmacists, because they get a report. They get a use report.
Right.
And they were like, there's an excessive amount of fentanyl being used by this doctor. And they didn't say shit.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. So,
Well, I mean, that's sort of like down here in Florida when we had the opiate problems, and finally they changed the laws down here because you had people going doctor shopping.
yeah, exactly.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
And finally they finally said hey, doctors, you can't be prescribing all these opiates.
And they formulated that whole system where they had to log in every time with the name and all that. And you're right, they were doctor shopping.
We did a crap ton of
pain
search
management,
facilities,
all these
and stuff
facilities
like
and stuff.
But then they started going after the pharmacies too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
because they're
big
like,
time.
why are you prescribing all these pain meds from the same doctor?
Yeah, over and over again.
So, guys, if you wonder why when you go into CVS, Walgreens, Publix, whatever, and you go to try and buy some type of high potent allergy medication, it's not fentanyl, and they make you sign a piece of paper and show ID and all that, it's because the meth trade uses the substance that are in all these allergy medications.
Sudafed and
Thank you.
Pseudoephedrine.
Pseudoephedrine.
Yep.
Yeah. But it's called something else. Not
It's
pseudoephedrine.
ephedrine.
Ephedrine. There you go.
It's ephedrine or
and they're using that to make all of this.
It's a precursor, right?
Meth, exactly, along
That's
with other
meth,
chemicals.
Yeah.
And they were just melting little shit down and put. So that's why, in case you didn't know why you have to show ID, why you have to show. That's why.
And that's why if you go to a doctor for a bad back, a lot of times they're not going to give you oxycodone and things like that. They'll try to give you Tylenol and things like that because they don't want to go to prison. Because we put a crap ton of them in prison.
Yeah.
And they'll give you a prescription for like 10 pills,
Yeah.
10 days or something like that.
I know when my son got his wisdom tooth, I think they gave him 3.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I think the most that most of them will prescribe, is like 7 days out. If you had like some kind of really major surgery, and I'm talking about oxycodone, Oxycontin, stuff like that they're going to use because that is sold on the street for what, $50 a pill,
probably.
something like that for oxys, and it's a major problem, guys.
So you guys are Dr. Husel's defense attorney. What is your strategy? Strategy.
Strategery?
Right. Go ahead, John.
Well, I mean, first of all, you would have to look at each and every patient's medical record.
Overall, what is your? Because you gotta defend this guy.
Well, each one is a separate incident.
Okay.
So I am going to make you prove every friggin' thing, and I'm going to kill the state with you've got to prove each and every count.
Okay.
And and then it's just hire medical opinion, medical experts who can say some sort of justification for many of them.
And what I ask is more, and I should have probably said this. You got two sides of the coin. I think you got comfort care versus accelerated death.
Mm-hmm.
Comfort care is a defense. I was offering comfort care.
Okay.
Accelerated death is what the state's going to go with. They weren't dying. You made them die.
Well, and that's kind of I asked you earlier. I'm like, were they all terminal and things like that? Because you can't put someone on palliative care or comfort care.
Okay.
Just
get all fancy with words and stuff.
My wife's a nurse.
I don't. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, you can't put someone on comfort care if they're not dying.
Right.
So I mean, if they're terminal, that's one thing. But you can be terminal, but not be in pain, and therefore you don't need to have comfort care per se.
Right. I agree.
But I mean, accelerated death is obviously basically what you're saying is I killed him.
Right.
So
LT?
I can't. I'm reading the notes and I'm listening. I can't really answer that.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know because I don't know. I really don't know what his motive is for this,
right?
Or what he was trying to do. By doing this, I don't know what it is, but I would say that if you, as a physician, know that 1,000 milligrams of whatever it is, so I just can't go and say, yeah, I think he's guilty, because I don't know what he was trying to do. Was he trying to just kill these people because he thought that they would be better off dead? Or if he was trying to comfort them and he went overboard? I mean, I don't know. But I damn sure think that he's guilty of frickin' something. That's for damn sure. If at all minimal medical malfeasance. I mean, something.
One of the prosecution witnesses was a Dr. Wesley Eli of Vanderbilt, and his opinion that all 14 of the patients that he was accused of murder died as a direct result of medication Husel ordered for them, not their underlying health conditions. Now,
and if this guy's that intelligent, he didn't do it on accident.
No.
This wasn't an accidental overdose. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
So that being said, guess how many witnesses were called for the defense?
1.
2.
Dr. Husel.
No. So there was one witness called by the defense, and he said, no, that was not an overprescription. So it seems to me to be a battle of the experts.
And who is he?
You know what? I just heard it. It just happened today, and I forgot his name. He was an expert from another.
Yeah, the trial's going on right now as we speak, right?
Well, today, the defense closed the case with one witness. Only calling one witness. No other rebuttal witnesses, nothing. Just
did they
that
call
one
Kyle
witness.
Rittenhouse?
They did not.
That would have been a good witness to call because he did really well on the stand.
He did.
Did they call Dr. Jack?
They only called this doctor who said that what else is this guy going to say if he's hired by
Dr. Jack? Kevorkian?
No.
I mean, come on.
Right.
So they call OJ.
No, they did not. They called this one doctor who said, no, he was fine. He didn't overprescribe.
Whatever.
So
Whatever.
It is. They called one, and then the defense rest. And it was funny if you look at the video. Jose Baez, the judge says, "All right, defense, would you please call your next witness, Mrs. So and so?" And was it? That would be my honor, Your Honor. The defense rests. All cocky and shit. Yeah. So it is going to be interesting what the jury, because the defense, what do they have to come up with? Reasonable doubt.
Right.
Yeah.
That's it. So you have.
You reckon there's going to be rebuttals?
You have
rebuttal witnesses?
From the state? Yeah. No. You only have one defense.
No, I mean after the state gives theirs, you reckon.
Well, the state went first.
They went first, yeah.
And they
defense-
didn't do any rebuttal?
It's
Witnesses?
Well, I don't know if they're going to come back, but there's only one defense witness.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Yeah, but it's all 100% medical opinion anyway.
yeah,
you blew your wad in one shot.
right. So let me ask you, LT.
You're used to that, right, John? Sorry, buddy. John's got a bad back right now. He hurt it working in his yard, and I'm teasing on him, and I'm sorry.
And
And you keep hitting my back.
And we've
it's down there.
and
It's
we've
not up
given, and
there.
we've given him a crap ton of fentanyl. So
Yeah.
Only about 1,000 micrograms.
Poor guy's over here with a cane. I feel so bad for him. Not really, but I do kind of feel bad for him.
Yeah,
I told him, I said, drink some more beer. It'll
listen-
make you feel better.
Listen, knees.
Oh, yeah, my knees are terrible. Couldn't be because I'm like 900 pounds. What?
LT. You have three options: guilty, not guilty, hung jury.
Man, without watching any of the trial. Defense called one witness. I say guilty.
He will be found guilty of some of these cases.
And I don't know.
agree.
I don't know all underlying
Right.
charges. I'm going to go out. I haven't bet you a cigar in a while.
Oh, here we
Oh,
go.
well. What kind of cigar would you like now?
Yeah, I was going to say, because my track record is 100%. I always win.
So what did you say?
I said guilty.
Guilty.
I didn't
As
say
charged?
all the charges, but guilty. He will be guilty of quite a few of them anyway. Yes.
That's hard to bet against.
Well,
Well, I mean, did you think you were going to be able to say, oh, he will be found, he said not guilty on all or guilty on all?
I'll tell you what. Well,
I tell you what. Let's do this. Let's do this.
Here we go.
If he is,
His bets, he always loses.
Just say
I tell you what. If he is found guilty of 5 or less, I win. 5 or more, you win.
Here we go.
Take it.
How many cases? 30 something?
14.
Oh, he's only charged 14?
I thought it was 30 something.
Well, that's what he was
27
arrested
patients.
for, and they dropped some.
Okay, so 5 or more, I win. I mean, 6 or more, I win.
6 or more, no.
Yes, you
Okay,
said
so
5 or
Wait.
less.
No. Here's how he said
Here
it.
we go.
No.
This shit's changing right now.
No, and I don't get to owe anyone a cigar. Less than 5,
Okay.
you win.
All right.
More
5
than,
or more.
No. More than 5, you win. 5, you both get me a cigar.
Okay. If it's right on 5.
Exactly 5.
Exactly
If it's exactly
I'll take
five,
that bet.
so I don't
you
get-
guys are witness. You guys are witness.
So I'm not betting anyone cigars.
4 or less. No, wait a minute. Oh, no. You're not getting out that way. 4 or less, he wins. John and I, yes.
Okay.
John and I buy him a cigar. 5 exactly, Camiel and I buy John a cigar. More than 5, them two both buy me a cigar.
Okay.
That's 2 cigars.
We're
Yes.
talking. We're talking counts, not people, right?
Whatever.
Yeah, counts. Okay.
Yeah, 5 counts
5 counts of murder.
or more.
Murder.
Yeah.
Now we're not talking like if there's any other minor.
We're not talking about
unlawful
We're talking
use,
murder.
malpractice.
And
Yeah,
it can be second degree, or first degree.
And or manslaughter. Yes.
That's
Yes.
not murder.
No. Any
Manslaughter and above.
Okay, I'll take
Manslaughter and above.
basically,
with that?
yeah, causing the death of.
manslaughter and above.
Okay.
What do you guys think?
Tell us
Let
your
know.
prediction.
Yes, tell us your prediction. Who's going to win this bet?
That is the story of America's Dr. Death. If you want to know more about Harold Shipman, British Dr. Death, check out our videos on YouTube. We have 35 videos. We'd love to hear from you. Please make sure and like, subscribe, share, tell all your friends. This is the greatest podcast known to man.
And don't forget to hit that little bell up there, guys, which gives you a notification every time we post a new video. Because remember, we do shorts, we do other videos during the week, or
Commentaries.
between them. We do commentaries, we do John's
Bartending.
judgments, we do Ronnie's rants. So there's all kinds of stuff being put on this channel. So hit that little bell and put all notifications, and that'll just give you a little bit of a notification when you look at your YouTube app in your phone or iPad or whatever it is, and it'll tell you, hey, there's a new notification. Bam! Hey, Surviving the Badge put out a new video.
Yep. And we were trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, so please like and subscribe and help us out, because we love doing it, and we love doing it for you guys.
Is there anywhere else on the interwebs
Yes,
we could be found?
we are on Spotify, we're on Apple, we are on
Anchor.
we're
Rumble.
on Instagram, Rumble, Twitter.
We're just about everywhere you can possibly look. But what we really want
TikTok for the high schoolers.
Yeah, we really want to focus on this channel where you're watching this now. We really need those subscribers. Once we reach 1,000 guys, then we can monetize the channel. We can make about this much money off of it, which will pay to make some better equipment and stuff. We really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Maybe we'll get Camiel some cosmetic surgery.
Thank God.
I don't think there's enough to help.
Okay.
All right, so as
I hear Dr.
always,
Husel is doing
Is that what he's doing now?
He's getting rid of this turkey neck. Yeah, thank God.
So as always here at Surviving the Badge,
We still got your 6. Salute.